the Eaton Mall is a terrific place. It is a hidden gem of Melbourne. But the spotlight's been on it since the new anti-smoking laws came in, and you've heard some of the passion here about it. Theo Zographos, a Liberal councillor for Monash, representing Oakleigh. Councillor, good morning.
Good morning, Neil, and it's great to see you back in Oakleigh. Oakleigh's most famous ever export. You're an Oakleigh boy, aren't you?
East Oakleigh.
Well, that's
Does
Oakleigh.
that count?
We'll own you.
I think there are more famous exports than that.
No, I don't think so, but thanks for
I
being
did
here.
go to East Oakleigh Primary School. I did. My father taught there. Smoking, where do you stand?
Well, there's a big history in the city of Monash going back more than a decade in terms of the city of Monash initially wanted to have its own bylaw. There was a huge backlash about 7-8 years ago from the traders, from local residents and patrons. The government came to office with an election commitment. They followed through on that. They should be commended on that. And traders had a lot of time to prepare for that. So they could invest in their premises being modified, like this establishment has done and other establishments have done in the mall. Some chose not to for financial reasons or whatever. Others can't because of the space that they can apply to lease from the council. So obviously every year we've got a permit system.
Yeah.
Some choose not to lease certain space for whatever reason. So there's a bit of variety there. It's been 7 weeks. It's too early to tell exactly what impacts, positive or negative, may be in place.
Is there an attempt to ban smoking totally, as I'm told by some of the people here?
Some of my council colleagues would certainly want that to be done from the state government. But having spoken to the traders here who employ hundreds of locals who provide this service, that would be to the detriment of Oakleigh and to the Monash community.
So as a councillor, you'd be resisting it?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I can't speak for the council as a whole, but
No.
me personally, absolutely. Yeah.
Who's got the numbers on council?
Look, it's too early to say, but I mean, the community speaks loudly, and I would implore anyone to meet with traders here. You've heard from someone, I think one of the traders down there, but I've spoken to all of them, and they understand that people have the choice. If you want to go to a particular establishment that doesn't offer smoking, you can do that now. If you want to go and smoke and have your coffee, you can do that now as well, and you can choose where you want to go. You couldn't.
But if you're smoking, you've got to sit in an area such as this where we're cut off by transparent
Barriers,
lines.
yep. And distance requirements as well.
So there's nowhere out in the mall where I can actually sit and smoke and have coffee?
At this particular point, you'd have to walk up to other areas of the mall to have an example of that. There are different times of the day where the format can change. Traders can do that themselves.
So if they're not serving food, you can smoke there during that time?
That's correct. That's
I don't think
correct.
the government's very happy about that.
Well, it's their model. The government chose that model. Having said that, I'm sure that there was a lot of debates in the Parliament what model they came to
And
finalise.
is it right I can smoke and eat a piece of cake but not bacon and eggs?
The wording is anything that isn't a snack, and a snack is something that is pre-packaged. So I don't know whether a cake, if it's a fresh cake, you probably can't eat it. If it's a pre-packaged cake, I don't want to do the John Hewson cake.
Shades of the GST here.
But if it's a pre-packaged cake, you'd be fine.
Okay, and you don't get too many pre-packaged cakes here. They're far too.
No, but you can go in other parts of the establishment and have your cake and eat it.
Okay, history of this area. How's it developed? Why is it developed? I mean, this is
Neil,
unique.
We had obviously mass migration after the Second World War. The Greeks came to Oakleigh because there was a church in Oakleigh. That was the main reason why they came. Over those decades, Lonsdale Street became the precinct for trade. So there was the cafes, the restaurants, the bookshops. They were all Greek.
In the city, yeah.
In Lonsdale Street, in the city. At the same time, there was private investment from establishments like this one and others that were here for decades that brought people into this mall, and the council has reacted to that over the years and invested in, putting in new tiles, putting in drainage systems, allowing for trading on the mall itself, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. We have thousands of people here every single day. We've got Chatston within a kilometre away. That's a massive competitor for us. We need to make sure that we're always adapting, maintaining our position, and we've built a new car park that was opened last month.
Okay.
Because parking was always an issue here.
Does the rest of Melbourne know about it?
Obviously, the Greek community knows about it, so we've got 300,000-400,000 people that know about it.
And they're very reticent to tell people.
I would say that the people that come here consistently are your southeastern Melburnians. So they might come from Rowville down Wellington Road, they might come from Mulgrave, they might come from Glen Waverley, they might even come from Dandenong. I certainly know people that travel a long way to come to Oakleigh.
But look at the group watching us here. I just ask everybody of Greek heritage to put up their hand.
So we've got
Well, it's about 50-50.
50-50.
And the others aren't listening.
I would say it's 50-50 if you were to come on a peak period in the mall. Peak period is generally a summer night, it might be a Saturday night. It could be any Friday. I mean, if you stay until 1 o'clock, this will be really busy later on, even though it's overcast.
There's a danger I might do that.
But I mean, where else could you go? You could go to Chapel Street, you could go to St Kilda, you could go possibly to parts of what is now Carnegie, but this itself is very unique, which is why we, as Oakleigh locals, need to make sure that we're constantly maintaining that. If we were to have a smoking ban completely, there are considerable risks there, Neil.
Thank you very much for coming in. What's your plan? You're going to be a state or federal politician?
I'm happy being a local councillor.
That's a political answer. Which is it?
Well, I've already run for state parliament unsuccessfully. I was the first Greek Australian Liberal to be endorsed here in Oakleigh. But who knows? Who knows, Neil? I might be back at some point being interviewed by you.
Yeah, we'll have a fight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks for coming in. Theo Zographos, the Liberal councillor for Monash, representing Oakleigh.